Why did I become a priest, and how did I become a priest? Well, I was born into what you might call a good Catholic family in Michigan, and early went to catechism in the summers. We didn't have a Catholic school. And my mother was very observant. She taught us our prayers and would take us to church, even a little bit more than a lot of people, like during Lent. And we used to pray a family rosary and things such as that. I became an altar boy very early in my life. And so I got an early start. And as an altar boy, I began to admire our parish priest. He was a very good man. And I was kind of a nature boy. I used to go fishing right on Lake Huron in Michigan and walk in the woods and the fields and so on. I loved that. I think actually that was the beginning of my relationship with God. I saw the beauty of nature and I thought there must be something or someone behind all of that. And then when I saw that my pastor was an avid fisherman, I said, you know, you can be godly and you can still be very human, so to speak. Sometimes we separate those so much. And so that kind of attracted me. And it began to work on me more and more. And at about age 12, God seemed to make his love known to me. And it really took hold of me. So I began praying on my own. Then I began bicycling to Mass on Saturday mornings when I didn't have school, as well as Sunday, you know, and got to thinking, I don't know exactly how, but got to thinking about the priesthood. And by the time I was ready to enter high school, it was so strong in me that I asked my parents if I could go to a boys' boarding prep school where I could learn Latin, so in case the priesthood was my vocation, I would get a start there. And there at this prep school, there were priests and seminarians who are our instructors and our prefects. And they were such fine men that I really loved them. And I thought, yeah, this is really it. So I confirmed my call to the priesthood while I was a teenager in high school. But then towards the end of the senior year, I began to feel that I wanted to do more. I wanted to be challenged harder, even more than my pastor or the diocesan priests I saw. So I was thinking about community life, about a community vocation where I could take vows and follow Jesus in that kind of a more strict and challenging way. So I investigated various religious orders, and so happened that a young man came to the school and became my roommate, who had been a minor seminarian with the Marians right here in Stockbridge. And then he decided the priesthood was not for him, so he came to this boys' boarding school just to continue his education and started telling me about the Marians. And I liked what I heard. I liked the fact that it was a small group rather than one of these huge worldwide like just Franciscans and Dominicans and so on. And also that it was kind of modern. We didn't have these trappings of wool habit and beards and sandals and a cord and so forth. You know, I wanted to be a modern American priest. I can remember even sort of in my childish dreams saying, I want to be the first saint that ever played varsity basketball, because I was a basketball player and I was a track man. Matter of fact, I ran the high and low hurdles in the Michigan State track finals. So I was always trying to combine what you might say the best of human life with the spiritual. And then I also heard that the Marians have an apostolate of doing almost anything, from youth work to foreign missions to education to parish work. And I kind of was inclining to do something in communications. I'd already been an editor of an award-winning yearbook in high school, and liked to do poetry. And so I was thinking of radio, thinking of editing journals and things like that. And I thought the Marians would offer me that opportunity as well. And then maybe the crowning of all of this was they were begun in Poland, and I was of Polish ancestry. So I said, there must be some, something, some vibes there, you see. And so I applied to the Marians in the middle of the summer. At that time, after I graduated from high school, I was working in our hometown as a soda jerk in a dairy bar. And I applied to the Marians, and then thinking that, gee, when I get into the religious order, those monastery doors are going to clank shut behind me, and I won't be able to travel the world. And I wanted to travel. There were national parks I wanted to see. I had already traveled a good deal with my parents who liked to travel. And so I devised this trip to go from Michigan hitchhiking all the way around the west, to the west, down the California coast, down to Tijuana, Mexico, and back up to Michigan. And I would do this in the last 4 weeks of the summer. And if the Marians did not accept me, I would just go to a regular college. If they did, then I would join the Marians. Well, my classmate who was supposed to come with me on this trip, at the last minute, his father didn't want him to go because he had a job and he didn't want him to break the job. I was all done. I would go to college anyway. So I had to talk my parents into allowing me to do this. So I gave my mother a map of the United States and promised I would write a postcard every day, and she could follow me on the map around where I was, you see. And then we were going to have a telephone call in Denver on my way back to say I was okay. So I did the trip, 10,000 miles roughly, and it was beautiful. Met wonderful people, a lot of help. I had a bright red sweater with an M on it, my St. Mary's high school sweater. And a lot of them said, well, you looked so neat and, wholesome that's why we picked you up. They took me to meals that they stopped and treated me, a couple of times took me out of their way. So when I wanted to go sing, so I went all the way across Illinois, Indiana, saw Lincoln's birthplace, into South Dakota, Mount Rushmore, the Black Hills, what was the beginnings then of the Crazy Horse Monument, on into Wyoming, the Bighorn Mountains, Cody, Buffalo Bill, a rodeo in Wyoming, on up into Montana, saw Glacier National Park, then into Washington, Mount Rainier, down into Oregon, Crater National Park, through California redwoods, all along the coast, down to Frisco, and then to Los Angeles. I took tours of those cities, and then even down in Tijuana, Mexico, back. Oh, the one portion of this trip that I did not hitchhike through was across the Mojave Desert. That I said, I'm not gonna risk. But I came to the Grand Canyon, Zion Breaks, National Monument, and so on, and then to Denver, to the former neighbors of ours. And I stopped there intending to call my folks. And there was a letter waiting for me. The Marians have accepted you. They want you to come as soon as possible. So I just hiked a beeline back to Michigan, got my stuff together, and got on a train in Detroit, came all the way here to Pittsfield by train, and our provincial of the Marians at that time, Father Shelsky, picked me up, brought me here to Stockbridge. That's where I had my year of novitiate, then to Washington, D.C. for college and theology and on to ordination and so on.